Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Erik Johansson, a teacher with LSAT Demon. With me today is Nathan Fox, founder of LSATdemon.com and the weekly podcast Thinking LSAT. Today, an email from Kyle.
Hi, Demon Team. If a school requires 2 letters of recommendation but accepts up to 4, is there any benefit to submitting all 4 letters? How much does a solid letter even affect the application? And can submitting too many letters potentially hurt an application? I went to grad school, so I think it would make sense to have 1 letter from undergrad, 1 from grad school, and 1 from my current employer, especially since I'm a paralegal. I have this notion that I should stop at 2 letters, but it would be weird to include my grad school transcript with no letter from a professor, right? While I'm at it, what if I included a 4th letter from my first legal job, which I worked from 2016 to 2022? They'll sing my praises, which can't hurt, right? Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Thank you, Kyle.
I think you're right that a letter in which your writer sings your praises won't hurt you. I also don't think you can submit too many letters as long as they're all good and provide something new and beneficial to your application. Trying to fill out 4 letters when a 3rd one or a 4th one, you'd be stretching and asking somebody who maybe doesn't really know your work or is going to say lukewarm things about you, that could be bad. But I see no reason to cap yourself at 2 or 3 if you know you have another great one that you could get.
Just don't let it be a distraction from all the other stuff that actually matters to your application, namely your undergraduate GPA and your LSAT score. If you're not yet done with your LSAT, you really should not be wasting any time at all worrying about these letters. One thing to consider is that you can have more letters uploaded than you actually submit to schools. So I would say totally solicit all of these. That's fine. But if somebody's dragging their feet, just don't bother. Just don't worry about it. I believe that the letters of recommendation are there mostly as a, like, is this a crazy person check? Because crazy people can't get anybody to write them a letter of recommendation. And so they're looking for just somebody to vouch. And so you're not a crazy person, Kyle. You're going to have plenty of people willing to vouch for you. That's great. As Erik says, I don't know that, someone singing your praises, it's not going to hurt you, but out of the 4 letters, one of the letters is going to be the best one. You want to submit that one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
When you submit a 2nd and a 3rd and a 4th letter, it does kind of dilute the value of whichever one was the best. So, for example, thinking about this 4th letter from a different legal job, do you need that? I don't know. I mean, your 2nd legal job presumably is kind of like a higher level legal job. I don't know that the first legal job is going to offer anything different. Similarly, you're having a letter from an undergrad professor and from a grad school professor. Why do you need the undergrad professor? Academia is academia. Unless it's like you did a directed research, a thesis or something, and it was like really impressive, then I could see having a need for that undergraduate recommender. But otherwise, you might just be able to choose.
Yeah, I don't think an undergraduate recommender versus a graduate recommender, there's not one that's inherently better. It's whichever one is going to write you the better letter based on the work that you did with them.
It just seems to me that grad school is more recent, probably. So
yeah,
why wouldn't you have a more recent recommendation?
I think it depends on the relationship that you had with the professor. And
exactly. It depends on what work you actually did for them. So it's not going to hurt you, Kyle, if for schools that do accept 4 letters, if you want to send them all 4 letters, maybe they like that. I don't know. But I wouldn't just be stretching to get a mediocre 4th letter unless you're sure that they're all going to be like really great and really add something to your whole package. I just, be respectful of their time, the schools, I mean, and don't send them unnecessary documents that aren't going to actually do anything in your favor. All that is to say, doesn't really matter. You've got to tick the box. You got to get the 2 letters submitted. The other letters, oh, one other thing I wanted to say is you could consider holding back a letter to use in the event of you get waitlisted at a school and you say, oh, hey, I have this other letter of recommendation. I wonder if you'd be interested in reading this other letter. I'll submit it to you now.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's
Maybe if it could justify your reaching back out to a school to reestablish that conversation, show interest, continued interest in the school, that you're taking
yeah,
steps to get yourself off the wait list,
it gives
potentially.
you
But
a reason to get back in touch with them and for them to reconsider or whatever, right? It gives you a point of conversation.
yeah,
And so maybe it's more useful as a point of conversation than as a fourth letter in your application to begin with.
yeah. I'd have to double check to see whether there's a way to submit an additional letter. That might depend on how it is that the law school would be set up to receive an additional letter.
That's true because they will have to come from LSAC. So maybe that's not even a thing
Yeah,
that you can do.
because
Yeah.
otherwise you'd just be like attaching a PDF to an email that you send to their
Yeah.
admissions office, and probably they don't want that. So, yeah,
Kyle, sounds like your applications are in pretty good shape. Sounds like you're a great applicant. I don't think you really need to worry about this. Thanks for
yeah,
writing in, though.
yeah. Let us know how things go for you. Email daily@lsatdemon.com if you'd like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.